Hey guys! Welcome back to Likewise Pod. I'm Issa.
And I'm Sam, and we're so excited for another episode this week. And it's the third week in a row that we're officially on time, posting again, actually once a week, maybe even fourth.
No, yeah, I don't know. I mean, technically last week was late because I got it up on Monday because I didn't realize how busy I actually was after we recorded. But I got it up, so that's what matters, I feel like.
Yeah, it was still one for the week, so it counts. And it was only 4 days after we recorded, so it didn't feel like a week.
Well, personally, I'm really excited for this episode because, one, I don't think it's going to be super long, but we'll see by the time we're done. And two, just because it's a really fun topic, and I was so stoked to actually watch the Bama Rush doc, and I thought it was really well done.
Same. I will definitely get into it more, obviously, after our Roses and Thorns, but I was super excited to watch it, saw the trailer, got even more excited, and then also a little scared. And then I saw how much hate it was getting online, so then I was like, now I kind of don't want to watch it. Obviously, I was still going to, but I was like, now I'm scared, and I'm going to be looking for all the things other people are calling out about it and saying they didn't like. But then I watched it, and I was like, some people are ridiculous. And I actually also really liked it.
Yeah. So, before we get into it, Sam, what are your rose and thorn of the week? I don't know how many you have of the week.
Before I get into my rose and thorn, this is so funny. I was listening to last week's, and I thought it was so funny that I asked you to do your rose and thorn first, because it was just so out of the order of how I feel like it's usually you asking me, so I was like, wow, that seemed so unnatural. But anyways, my thorn is that it's been such a busy week at work right now. We had a big campaign shoot that I've been prepping for weeks. And it's one I've done before, so it's a consistent one that we just kind of refresh and update. So I kind of knew the amount of prep work it would be, so it's more busy beforehand, and then kind of in the moment before we have the shoots, it feels like, oh, I'm still unprepared, but then the actual shoot goes so smoothly and calm and chill, and so it was nice. And I've gotten to hang out with a bunch of our favorite models that we don't get to see often because we only bring them in for this stuff, so that's been pretty fun. And all caps on our dog, my apartment crazy issue. So on Friday night at I guess it was Saturday morning because it was at midnight or even 1 a.m. Zeke goes to plug his phone in because he plugs his cords in on the wall across from the foot of my bed, and he steps over there and he's like, your carpet is soaked. And I was like, what? He's like, is your window open? The carpet's soaked. I'm like, what do you mean? No, my window's not open. I live in the basement. They don't have screens. I can't open my window. I'll get bugs and stuff in it. So I'm like, no, there wasn't any water up there that dropped and spilled. So we're like, that's suspicious. So then I go over there, I start feeling it. Of course, he had some sweatpants on the floor over there. I had a sweatshirt. That sounds so scandalous. It's not like that. He just always leaves clothes over there. But I picked up this stuff and it was soaked. Anything that was on the ground over there was soaked, and I was like, oh my god, unplug your cords right now. And then I'm feeling around, trying to feel how far it goes or whatever, and of course at this point I wanted to go to bed so bad. And I was like, well, I'm gonna have to call them in the morning. So then I'm laying here in bed and I'm listening out my window because I'm just paranoid at this point, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my sprinklers. I have an underground sprinkler system, and my sprinklers run at night in my yard. And I didn't even know I had this underground sprinkler system until 2 weeks ago, when my property management called me and said that they were going to have people come into my apartment to check that it would be okay to turn the sprinkler system back on because they had replaced it a while ago. They wanted to make sure that nothing bad would happen when they turned it back on after the winter. I'm like, okay. and it just like hit me. And so like it had been like 20 minutes of trying to sleep, and I just like grabbed Zeke and I'm like, do you think it's the sprinklers? It was so dramatic, and he's like, yes. And I could tell he just like wanted to sleep, so I was like, okay, whatever. I like barely slept that night because I was so paranoid, because I didn't know if that's what it was. I was so scared that like something was about to flood, because like it hadn't been wet the night before, any of that. So then like Saturday morning I clean everything up, and I like walk along my wall to see how far it goes, and it goes like decently like halfway across my room on that wall. And so I'm moving all this stuff, like sorting my laundry, like getting everything off the wall, because I'm scared that it's like gonna go my whole wall. But it only goes like halfway, and you can feel that it's like along the baseboard where there's like a pipe under there or something, like the pipe for the sprinklers. Anyways, not to keep making this a long story, I had to make an emergency after hours call to my property management that night, or like that afternoon. And I thought maybe like someone would come look or whatever, but the person was kind of confused that I was talking to. And they were like, yeah, we'll let the owners know and then see what happens. And then I never heard anything. All Monday, they didn't even talk to me. And I was like, because they said like the owners would maybe like turn the sprinklers off until Monday, when we can like then get people out to look at it or something. Like, okay. Well, it would have been nice to know that like the owners did turn off the sprinklers, because they never told me. And so on Tuesday during my lunch, I called them, rang all the way out to voicemail, had to leave a message. Wednesday, I call them during my lunch, it rings all the way out, I have to leave a message. I've never had issues with them before. Like, they're usually so fast, so responsive, and so great. And I'm like, this is terrible. They're ignoring me. And then today at like 3:30, I get a call from the guy who like runs the whole thing, and I like recapped things for him, and then he called me back like 30 minutes again, asking like for directions of exactly which bedroom it was in my place. And I'm like, okay, there's 2 bedrooms, so it's really not that hard to figure out. You look in one, there's a fan in it, because I've been running a fan to try to dry my carpet. And he was like, oh yes, so the one in the northeast of the house. I'm like, you think I know what that means? No. I can't tell you which room is the one in the northeast part of the house. No, but sure, that sounds right. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. He said that he would send someone to come look at it, and he confirmed that they did turn off the sprinklers Saturday night. So I've been getting no sleep a week, paranoid about it, when they've been off the whole time. I really didn't mean to talk about it that much. I just was going to say that my underground sprinkler system is leaking and my bedroom carpet's getting soaked. But it was wild. So that's my big thorn of the whole week. My rose is that, I read a book. And it was the second Summer I Turned Pretty. Because a couple weeks ago I said that I was going to try and read it again. And I did finish it, gave it 3 stars. You can add me on Goodreads if you want.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
My thorn is that I had to shower 2 days in a row. Okay, so I'll try to make a long story short. But so on Monday, I was like, ugh, I'm disgusting. I have to work today. So I might as well shower, because I can't just go out in public and be all disgusting, right? So I showered. And I was thinking that would get me to at least Wednesday, maybe Thursday, you know? But sometimes I can go 3 days. Usually I go 2 days. Anyways, sorry, I'm not gross. I feel like that's... Anyway, okay, anyways. So I worked, and then I went to bed that night, and then I woke up on Tuesday morning, as one does, and I was like, I have to be in public again today. Do I have to shower? I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm fine. But then, as the day went on, and I was sitting in my bed, I was like, I can smell myself, and it does not smell good. I was like, can I survive a day in public like this? And a couple minutes passed, and I was like, I am getting, like, I just feel so gross. I feel like I'm smelling someone else, but it's myself. I'm like, I have to shower. So I showered 2 days in a row. I was so annoyed, because honestly, showering's a lot of work, but it's fine, because I ended up not smelling disgusting after my shower, so that's always a plus. Okay, and then also, like, I guess technically another thorn is that I've not worked out / exercised since last week when I said that I'm starting to exercise. Rough. Oh well. life goes on. But my rose is that I watched the 2005 cinematic masterpiece that is Robots this week. And I know not many people know this. I know no one knows this, actually. But I've been talking to my parents about this movie, Robots, for like the past month. I'm like, Mom, Dad, you know what we should do? We should watch Robots. And we literally have it on DVD, and like I just see it out in the living room sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a good movie. So I really want to watch it. And so I've just been saying, let's watch Robots for probably like the past month or so. Not like every day, but probably like once or twice a week for the past month. And then, so earlier this week, so my mom's been sick this week, and it's been a rough life for her. I come out of my room one day, and she's like at her desk. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're working? She's like, in her sick voice, she's like, I'm just doing this one thing, and then I'm gonna like go back watch TV. I was like, and then I look at the TV, I was like, oh my gosh, you're watching Robots? She goes, it's just what was on. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll watch Robots with you. So I sat down, and then she finished her work thing like 10 minutes later. She's like, I'm going back to bed. So I just sat there watching Robots by myself, and it was the time of my life. And second rose, because why not, is that I also read a book. So yay. I read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And it was really good. I loved it, gave it 5 stars.
That makes me so excited, because I still need to read it, and now I'm like, I need to read it as soon as possible so then we can talk about it.
Yes. One of my friends, though, like, she just read it too, and she said that like it was good, but she was expecting it to like really ramp up and like give her like that 5-star feeling, but then it just kind of ended, and so like that she was underwhelmed by it, and she didn't, I forgot if she gave it like 3 or 4 stars, but like she liked it enough, and we're really excited to watch the show. But yeah, I felt all the emotions. I did in fact cry. So but
I
like
love when
reading
books make me cry.
I know, me too. I need a book that like gives me like an ugly cry, because I want that so bad.
Same. I don't think I've had an ugly cry from a book since the first book I read when I decided I was going to read again, which was in January 2022 when I read Turtles All the Way Down. I don't think I think I've like shed some tears, but don't think I've ugly cried since that book. And I don't know if it was the book or if it's just me. So.
I cried when I read It Ends With Us. I mean, as one does. But I don't think that was like really an ugly cry. And like I've shed some tears like here and there, just like happy tears, you know? Or like, oh my gosh, this is so much, like I'm crying, I'm so sad. But I think my actual only ugly cry was when I read All the Bright Places in 2020. That was during my week and a half of reading, when I read 3 books, and then I didn't read again for another like year and a half. So I read 3 books in the span of a week and a half in 2020. All the Bright Places was one of those. Ugly cried. If you've seen the movie, if you've read the book, if you've done both, you will know. And then I did not read another book until December of 2021.
I really thought that Happy Place would make me cry because I saw everybody else sobbing. And then there were like points where I was like, I could see where people would be crying right here, or like whatever, but like I felt like I was like could have, but I was like, I think I just didn't feel connected enough. Which usually I don't think I have to feel that way, but like I just was like, yeah, like that's sad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna spoiler, we're gonna have a book episode soon.
Yeah.
So we are. So like with Daisy Jones and the Six, like there were things, I mean, like I couldn't connect with all of it, but like there were things I could connect with, and I feel like a lot of times when I do cry, it's because I really do connect with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it might not be personal, like my own personal experiences, but like people in my life's personal experiences, and I'm like, oh my gosh, crying. But I feel like the ones that I'm able to connect with in some way are the ones that I like. I feel like those are the ones that I give 5 stars. Or if it's just like a wholesome, feel-good story, and I'm like, I love this, then I'll also give it 5 stars. But
I think I'm really, I guess we can talk about this more in a book episode, but I'm really generous with 5 stars these days, because I'm on the train of like, if I don't have anything really that bad to say about the book, like if my only like grievance is like, oh, I kind of wanted the ending to go a different way or something, then like, but I had such a good time reading it and like loved the writing style, like just genuinely enjoyed it the whole time I was reading it, I'm probably gonna give it 5 stars. Even if there's like maybe one thing that was like cringy, like one line that was cringy or something.
Yeah, for me, I feel like my difference between 4 and 5 stars is like 4 and 5 star. Like I love my 4 stars books. But I think the difference between the two is like 5 stars I just cannot stop thinking about, whereas 4 stars I can stop thinking about. Except
That's true.
Okay, except the one exception to that is Ugly Love, and I cannot stop thinking about that. But there's just something about it that I literally do not know what it is, but there's something about it that I cannot make it 5 stars. So it's only 4 stars. So okay.
That's so funny.
Moving on from books. We'll talk about it later.
Regularly scheduled programming.
Yes.
Likewise, classic.
Want to describe our inspo image?
Oh. Yeah, I will. I don't think this one's going on the Instagram. Maybe on the story.
Yeah.
But like,
ooh, we can make like a highlight of like our inspo images if we don't want to like post them to the feed.
You're so smart. Let's do that. This one, you know how like trendy like guest check like receipt things like kind of like restaurant style vibes have been. Well, this one, it says like P&M checklist. Some school made this, like some Panhellenic Council at a school made this for sure. But it's like P&M checklist. It's like mints, snacks, water, umbrella, charger, band-aids, heart Panhellenic. And I just had put that because since we were going to be talking about the Bama Rush documentary, I just was thinking about how with like Bama Rush on TikTok, everybody was like, here's my Rush bag, here's everything in my Rush bag, and like they had all this extravagant stuff like in their bag, and like people are always like, here's the essentials you need when you're going through recruitment. And so I just thought it was like cute and just correlated, and like it just looked cute.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's cute too.
Yeah. And then they actually showed some of that in the documentary, so I was like, I feel so validated.
Yeah, I know. I was like looking at reviews of the documentary kind of as I was watching it and after I watched it, and so many people were like, oh my gosh, the only people who deserve any credit for this movie are like the marketing team or ad team or whatever, because they put together such a good trailer and then the documentary didn't live up to it. It's like, okay, honestly, the trailer and the documentary itself, I feel like very different, because the trailer made it seem like we were gonna get like an inside look at things that happened during Rush, and you're gonna hear the conversations that they have in the houses, or you're gonna get all of these people's emotions and talks with their ROCAs, which is what they call their ROGAMAs. Like for like a WC, we're ROGAMAs, recruitment guides, whereas they're ROCAs at Bama. Anyways, but yeah, so like the trailers like made it look like there was just gonna be so much going on, whereas the documentary itself, like it was all just about like these P&Ms and like a couple actives, but just about like their thoughts and feelings regarding like their decision to go through recruitment, and also like their decision to like attend University of Alabama, to go through recruitment, and like all the things leading up to it, and just like how they're feeling, how they're preparing. And I just thought it was really, really well done.
I did too. And this okay, my friend told me that whenever I say like, oh, this might be a hot take or whatever, and then it's really not, and I know we used to say like lukewarm takes a while ago, but she told me to call it a toasty take, because it is kind of like, sometimes they are still hot takes, but they're not like that hot, especially because I know you might agree with me, so it's like it's not that hot if you're agreeing.
Yeah, fair.
But my toasty take is that a lot of the people hating on the documentary have no understanding of what documentaries usually are, or like what they're like, because the most complaints I saw about it was that they were like, the director just turned it into this whole thing all about her alopecia, all this stuff. And I'm like, she brought it up maybe 3 times in like small segments, and I saw it more as, also, most documentaries, the like creator, especially if they're this involved in it like she was, where it's like she's following these people, she's doing like effective journalism here basically, she was showing how connected she felt to these women and how she was seeing her college self in their experience, and how she can see that like while she was experiencing these feelings because she was like had her own like insecurities with her alopecia, she's seeing other women who aren't in her same position have the same insecurities for a different reason, and it all comes down to wanting to be accepted, loved, and seen. And like that was like her whole thing. Like she kind of like put herself in just to like show how like following these P&M's experience was also affecting her and helping her, and she was just like reflecting on when she was their age. Like it was like not even like, and so then like I was wondering, because I got to when there was only 30 minutes left in it, and it was like a moment where she was talking about it for a little bit. I'm like, oh, I could see why people would think that if maybe the last 30 minutes she continues this. But no, it went right back to the P&M's experience, the actives experience, the little interviews, and like other things. But I was like, people made it seem like it was the whole thing, and it was barely any of it. I'm like, it just felt like a regular documentary to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and like a lot, I also saw like a lot of comments saying they're not even going into like actual recruitment or rush or whatever it was, and like that's not real investigative journalism. Like you should try it sometime. I was like, huh? Like, is she not getting what she came here for?
Right.
No, like
the goal wasn't to be an expose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the rumors that circled around, like I feel so bad for that one girl who was dropped from recruitment because she had her hairband in and they thought it was a mic. It's like, no, those were literally rumors. She wasn't trying to like bring down Greek life. She was just trying to get a better understanding of people and their decisions behind it. Mm-hmm. And that's literally what we got.
Yeah. It was just, obviously everybody's critiques are valid, but I think the most of what I saw people complaining about wasn't even that true in my experience of watching it. Mm-hmm. And there was something else. Oh, people are like, they didn't even expose the machine like the trailer made it seem like they would. And it's like, well, that's true. We did see most of what they even mentioned about the machine in the trailer than what we saw in the film. But I do think like it goes into it on the level of what most people don't know, and it like graces over it. And obviously like, her mission was not to expose the machine. Obviously she was trying to like learn more about it, but you could see how much like people didn't want to talk to about it. And I think it did show like somewhat good stuff of like, we saw the one woman who was an alum of Phi Mu there, who talked about how when she was sent to like the meetings as a like representative for her chapter, and I'm like, wow, that's so wild that we get to see all this. And I was like, I know Phi Mu shaking in their boots knowing that one of their alums is talking about being a representative to the machine for them. But it was just like, I'm like, that wasn't the point. And there were so many other things that were so like moving to me about the P&M's experiences and stuff. And even some of the things like actives would say, like I think that the active from Sigma Kappa was so real for what she talked about. The fact that she would critique their standards process and call out like microaggressions and like racism she's experienced from her sisters, like to do that and still be an active member of your chapter somewhere where obviously they're pretty strict is pretty bold. And so,
yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly, I was really, I don't know if impressed is the right word, but no, not impressed. I was like a little surprised, that's the word, that they shared like Sigma Kappa's bylaws like that. Like, I don't know if it was like the individual chapters bylaws or if it was like the national chapters bylaws, but I was like, wow. I feel like anywhere else, like, you're not able to actually see like actual bylaws when I feel like you should be able to.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel like I had to dig and dig and dig just to find our bylaws when I wasn't active, when we were actives. So I was like, what the heck? And yeah, just all the things. Like, I mean, okay, we could get into bylaws another time, but just so many, honestly, really silly things in them. And yeah, I get it. A lot of it's for protection, but like for yourself as an individual member of the sorority and as well as like the sorority as a whole. But like yeah, no, that Sigma Kappa shoot, what was her name? I can't remember, but you know, when she's like, yeah, that's the one I get in trouble for the most, is disrespecting a sister. I was like,
Yeah.
that is so, like, honestly, it's so funny. She's like, yeah, I get in trouble for that one the most. I go to standards all the time. I was like, brother, I'd be shaking in my boots if I was going to standards.
Right. Yeah, no, it's just interesting. I just didn't see what a lot of other people saw and disliked, and I don't know if it's because a lot of people complaining are people who, I mean, I've seen a lot of people who have been in Greek life saying they didn't like it, but also I think from the perspective of people who have been in a chapter watching it and seeing things, like, there are things that I'm like, well, that goes much deeper than that, or I wish we got to see more. Like when they're talking about like the mutual selection and like the voting processes and like ranking and stuff for like through recruitment votes and stuff, I'm like, they talk about it very surface level, but it is because it's different for every chapter, and a lot of chapters don't even follow what their national processes are. Like, they're still doing like antiquated traditions that probably shouldn't still be being done, and it's different for every organization, you know. But when they're talking about all that, I'm like, man, I wish we had like an RFM specialist on here talking about how then it actually works. Like, those are the people who run all the like Excel and numbers that sort everything out, and like that's where people get like dropped from chapters. Like, the chapter doesn't necessarily decide 100% we're dropping this person. Like, you have to submit different lists and things, and those all go through a big processor. Past stat numbers are factored in. Like, it's so wild, and to an extent so much of it is left out of the control of the people who feel like they have control by like putting somebody on their list. They could get taken off your list whether you had them on it or not. It's like recruitment method numbers.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't understand. It's like, no, it's not that you weren't on the list, it's just that you weren't high enough on the list, you know?
As I say, also, like, a lot of people don't know that like the only list that has an order that matters is like the bid list after pref day. That specific order really matters. Then the only other list that the order does matter is on those, like, they're called flex lists, like plus and minus. So it's after your like base list, you get allowed like a certain number to then have on this list. So they're basically telling you have to get rid of this many people, but of that many, you have to then put them in like order of like, if you end up having room, who comes back on your list first and like whatnot. But yeah, too confusing. It's weird to understand, but it's like, I just wish we had someone like explain that, because I think there's even like barely any active members understand it. A lot of volunteers and people who like work in Greek life don't even understand it. Really only RFM specialists get it.
Yeah, I would say that most actives probably don't understand it. I mean, we can get into this more in like later sorority episode with like more nitty-gritty stuff, but I feel like people outside of Greek life don't understand voting, and like that it's not necessarily, oh, we don't like her, but it oftentimes is, we think that she would just thrive in another chapter more than she would here. Or like other chapters like have better resources, or other chapters like can offer her so much more than we can. So we're going to help her out by not asking her back here, even though we would love to have her. But you know what, maybe she's just a cousin, not a sister.
Right. It's so complicated, and I think even just the whole idea of people like, and it seemed super negative in the documentary, and honestly I'm glad it did, because it is pretty negative. Like when you're going through like learning how to recruit and do all this stuff, like nobody, well, I can't speak for everyone, but most people don't like the idea of having to vote and put someone on a scale like that, especially after like first couple rounds. Like you're only having 5-minute conversations with them before they talk to someone else. Sometimes it is very surface level. Sometimes you don't have a good sense, or like you don't even know what to put for notes of like what they were passionate about. Maybe you didn't get into that because you wanted to like learn about them and where they're from and why they're even there. Like it's so hard to put someone on a thing like that. So I think it's important that like while some chapters may be saying like give all the prettiest girls you talk to this, or you know, whatever, for the most part that's not what's happening most places. And people have like created like and gone through so many like workshops where you sit down and you define like what is it that your chapter needs, because you're not even looking exactly for people that like, oh, I see them fitting in with these people in the chapter, like they get along so well with my friend. It's more like, wow, they have such a drive for like leadership, and that's like an area where we've been really struggling the last couple years, and we need some really strong leaders coming into this chapter to make sure we like survive on this campus. Like it's more of like we have defined what we want and need, and also like further than like our national values, like what our individual chapter values. So then when you're looking on that scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 4 or 1 to 6, whatever different organizations use, you maybe have defined for like your first rounds, like you know that like you don't want to see anybody like below a certain number. Like you say, hey, like if you think they meet every single thing that we defined we need or want, that's a 10. But most of the time, you're not going to have a 10 because you don't know them well enough. Maybe you don't have a 10 on someone till pref day. Maybe your thing is, I see them like sharing some of those values we defined, but maybe not all of them. Maybe that's more of your like 5, 6. And this person, I think they're like really not lining up with the like things we established our chapter wants and needs. That's where you get those 1 to 3. You know, it's like you can set it that way and not as much like, we like them 10. Or like 10 because they know this girl. Like it's just really not like that. And obviously it takes a long time for people to like make it that way and really have that understanding. But obviously, and some organizations, you cannot talk about your voting process at all because some don't do it this way, and some it's like literally against their policies to even tell other people outside the chapter how they vote because they consider it ritual. So I think that goes into a completely other side of Greek life, but people obviously have to just say, yeah, we have to rank people on a scale, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible, that's like not morally right. And it's like, well, how else are you supposed to do it?
And honestly, how different is that from how we make friends naturally? Well, yeah, job interviews, like, but also just making friends naturally. Like, most likely, everyone wants to say, no, I don't judge people when I first meet them. No, we all want to make a good first impression. First impressions mean so much. And in my head, I might not be thinking like, oh, that first impression sucked, I'll give her a 2. Oh, that first impression, wow, amazing, she's a 9. How can she be a 10? You know, I'm not thinking that, but I'm thinking, oh, maybe that's not someone I want to hang around. Oh, maybe that's not someone I want to be like. Or, oh my gosh, wow, I really want to get to know this person more. You know, like we're always thinking that, whether it's a first impression, a second impression, third impression, or we've been friends for a while and like constantly just reevaluating relationships. But it's something that just happens in the natural world. But Greek life just happens to put numbers on it and put it on a scale upon first week of interactions with people.
Especially where like in the documentary we're obviously looking at Alabama, which has like the largest national recruitment, like they literally showed like the numbers and stuff. It was wild. How else are a chapter of like, well, when they're recruiting, they have like 300 people. How else are 300 women, and then their leadership team more specifically, supposed to process and submit lists within like a short window of time during the recruitment process to like have people back for the next round and like have things ready? Like there's like thousands of people doing this, so it's like, how are we supposed to like make it efficient and make a process that works for the most part? Obviously, like every system that's like regulated like this is gonna have its like flaws come out and things, but I think the system is the system for a reason, and it's pretty like nationally created too. Like NPC has like set types of recruitment process that schools can use, and like their Panhellenic has to abide by like all these things. It's up to them to like create the full format and like different things, but like you can't stray too far from what the outline processes are.
Yeah, like in the doc they said what each day is, and like first day is, I forgot what it was called, but basically
Like
Pan
sisterhood
Day.
round, or
Yeah, like where you get to meet all the chapters. Second day, Philanthropy Day, where you learn about every chapter that you're asked back to is philanthropy.
sisterhood is their one before pref, because it's basically like their house tour.
Yeah, sisterhood is like their third day, which was our house tour day, and then final round 4, pref day, which was, I feel like pref day is universal. I keep saying universal. Well, okay, maybe not keep saying universal here, but like in my mind, I keep saying universal when really it's the United States and like some universities in Canada that do Greek life. But honestly, I feel like from what I've heard about like other universities, like those are pretty standard rounds, and like you're able to call it whatever you want. You're able to do like whatever you want within those days. But like Sam said, like NPC, they have these standards. They have like these specific things that like have to be followed for a reason. And you know what? Each university that has Greek life is able to make it their own by changing the rounds a little bit, or by calling them different things, or by emphasizing different things on different days, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's relatively the same experience everywhere. Also, okay, so I know I kind of like said this earlier, but like something that I really love that I feel like the documentary like really emphasizes that, yeah, there are like really sucky things, but there are also so many wonderful things about being a part of a sorority. Like honestly, the joining process, Rush, like it does suck because it is about being judged, about placing you into a quote-unquote box, but the experience, as cheesy as it is, really is what you make it. So like no matter where someone lands, like they'll most likely have a really great time. I also really like that it wasn't what anyone anticipated it being, like trying to take down Greek life, because I was really nervous about that. I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, like the TikTok that they show at the beginning of the trailer and at the beginning of the doc, like this HBO documentary could be the end of Greek life as we know it. I was like, oh no. But like I just really appreciate the fact that it like followed a couple, it wasn't even like a lot, it was just 3, and then that one girl dropped out, Shelby, 2, but like followed a couple PNM's experiences and documented like their desires and motivations behind rushing, like as well as some actives and their thoughts on the process and their experiences on the inside. Like I thought it was, I don't know another word for it, but I just thought it was really special, and I just really liked it. I just really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said about that so much. And I also just randomly was thinking about how, like, I've seen so many people complaining about, like, false marketing with some of this, like, different media and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of, like, somewhat maybe was false marketing from, like, how you perceived, like, the trailer making it out to be. But, like, everything in the trailer did happen in the documentary. And, like, it maybe just didn't go as deep as you wanted it to. Or, like, so you... Yes, it's kind of false marketing, but it worked because it got you to want to watch it, and you were left slightly disappointed, but other people were probably left pleasantly surprised and found some other meanings, or like ended up really enjoying it. Like maybe people who didn't want to see Greek life portrayed in a negative light because they're like members and have positive views of it, were satisfied with like it showing some things that other people might not see. Or like I've seen people talking about it so much with like Emily Henry's books, saying like they need to stop being marketed as like romance books because they're more just like contemporary fiction and like whatever. That's besides the point. I just see so much about that these days. But I also, for me, like things that stuck out to me was mostly about like the P&M's experiences, because I thought they were just really powerful stories, and that they like humanized the women that were rushing, because I think we just like kind of gloss over the actual experience that a lot of them are having. And I liked that it was following them for like months before they even went through recruitment.
Yeah, like a whole year before.
Yeah, because it became a little bit less about completely what Rush was to them, and more about what they're experiencing in their individual lives. Just that they are like individual people that are going through very deep things, and from my perspective, things that encompass what most college-aged women are going through, which some of the things in the documentary were like negative body image, grief in multiple ways, like traditional grief. We saw two girls who felt really connected because they both were grieving the like past loss of their fathers. And then same girls, we see them talk about getting drugged while they're out at a bar. Then another girl, we see her open up that like 2 weeks before she moved to Alabama for college, she was sexually assaulted. These are all like unfortunately very common things happening. Oh, the other form of grief I was going to say was those same girls also have a friendship breakup in the documentary, which was like kind of sad to see. So it's like we see like the different types of like these negative things going on in all these people's lives, but all at the same time while they're experiencing this and like trying to come to terms with their like individuality and their adult life and all this stuff, they're also preoccupied with trying to be like nervous and anxious and like, but also excited to go through something that's going to shape the rest of their college experience. Like whether they continue fully through the process or not, it is going to shape what their experience is going to be, because they're either going to join a chapter and then choose if they're going to be super involved, moderately involved, barely involved, or they're going to choose to not join a chapter and start seeking out connection in other places. So I just thought it was really authentic to the average like 18, 19-year-old college girl / sorority woman, for like the actives and things. And I also like, I wish there was more commentary in some of those interview clips from some of the like, I don't know, like academics and professionals like Diana Turk and Dr. Elizabeth Boyd. Like I thought they had really good things to say, and I think they probably did say a lot in these interviews, but obviously just these small clips got kept in because you can't keep, I don't know. I feel like it was nice that the documentary was kind of short and sweet and not super drawn out. Wasn't more than what people wanted. Yeah, I just wish there was a little bit more of that because I think they had cool things to say. But yeah, that's my general thoughts of things I liked that really stuck out.
Yeah, and I think like kind of going back to it being relatively same experience wherever you go, is that it honestly really was. I was expecting it to be like so different. It's like so much more intense because it's Bama, because blah blah blah, because blah 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 blah, you know. But all the things that those girls were feeling, like all the things that they were saying, and I was like, oh my gosh, I so relate to that. Oh my gosh, like like that is so true. Or oh my gosh, that's what it was like for us at WSU, like just a Pac-12 school, not the SEC, you know. And so
yeah,
where like Greek life, it isn't the biggest deal, but like Greek life isn't treated like royalty at WSU. Like it's honestly it's nothing special there, but I was so, I don't know, like intrigued by the fact that it really was, again, like a universal sort of feeling, experience sort of thing.
Yeah, no, like a lot of the things that like some of the actives and other people would talk about in the doc was like things that, I mean, we obviously experienced at WCU, but things I also saw all across the country when I was a consultant. Like, everyone says the exact same things. Everyone talks about the problem with hierarchies and tier rankings made by fraternity men, or like just like top house, bottom house. Like, these are things that are like pretty universal across campuses, and the issues, like almost every campus I go to, you know, and in the moment you only know your own experience. So sometimes like people think like this is so unique to us, like this is unique to our campus. We have a lot of problems with drugging, and we have a lot of problems with sexual assault and all this stuff. And it's like, well, sadly, we're finding out this is just like a huge issue on campuses everywhere.
Greek life or not.
Yes, Greek life or not. And it is looked at under a microscope when it's occurring within Greek life, because the communities are so connected and want to have like a sense of unity and want their community to be safe, obviously. So people are going to create more awareness around it and bring it to light more when it's happening in certain communities and things, because I don't know. I don't know why, but like, you know, it's just like it's happening everywhere, and it's just really not nice to hear that it's happening, but like
reassuring.
It's very relatable. Kind of
relatable,
because like people are like, wow, that's so crazy that this is happening at Alabama, and it's like, well, buckle up, because this is happening everywhere.
Like, this is happening at your school too. Fun fact. Yeah. Well, sad fact.
Or like some or like they mentioned like being fined for things and like all that. But I will say it is becoming like more popular across the country that chapters are like national organizations are like getting rid of fines, like not letting chapters fine, like making it like,
wow,
you are not allowed to have this in your policies, you are not allowed to fine.
Wow, I did not know that. Yeah,
by the way, tried out the prohibited fines nationally at the start of, well, internationally, because we have chapters in Canada, but prohibited fines internationally starting January 1st, 2023. A lot of chapters were already not doing it. A lot of the experiences were the same, and as much as they are very different, like, I personally, well, I mean, I'm just weird like this, but I did know the name of every single person in our chapter, but it's also because, like, when I was secretary and when I was president, like, you kind of just know these things. Also, wasn't an extremely large size to where it would be hard.
Yeah,
it's easy to know everybody.
Our chapter was,
when you have 200 people.
Yeah, like one of the smallest chapters at less than 200 people. I think we had like 170 on average, and that was like during the good years when we had a lot of people.
Yeah, we had 200 something when I first became president, but also I think our rosters were a little wrong, and then when COVID happened, we dropped really far off, and like that happened to a lot of chapters, but then it did suck when we had like 110 and other chapters still had like 180 people.
Yeah.
Or like even over 200 still, like when quota was still 230, but we were sitting there with 100 people.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say you'd think that with less people it'd be easier to make quota, but almost made it harder.
Things are just the same but different, and it was good to see, and I hope it didn't like scare people away from going through recruitment, especially if they're going through recruitment at a school that's not an SEC school. Because I do think while things are very similar, I do think it is way more intense at SEC schools.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we always talk about it, like, oh my gosh, I wonder where we'd end up if we went to literally any other school than WCU. Like, I mean, because chapters on the West Coast are relatively the same in terms of the, you know, rankings and like personalities of the chapters themselves, whereas the rest of the country is like wildly different from where we are. And you know what, we all want to say that the rankings, that the hierarchy is not real, but unfortunately it is. And it's like they said in the documentary, it's made by the fraternity boys, it's made by whoever honestly, it's just made by whoever wants to make them, and which is really annoying.
Yeah.
But you know, I still read Greg Grank. I'm still like, that's so funny. And I sometimes go back to the arguments from like 2010, 2014 or something. That was so fun. Anyways, beside the point. But it's like, yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, like, your experience is going to be what you make it. So why try to get into a quote unquote top house when you cannot even stand half of the girls in that chapter? Whereas if you get into a quote unquote bottom house, like the girl from SK who, you know, was just talking about her life and all the things about it, love her. Honestly, it sounds like she really, like, it sounds like she loves her chapter and she loves the people and like the memories she's made in there so far and like her experience. And it's like, that's what it's about. It's not about getting into a top house, or it's not about like not getting into a bottom house. It's about having the experience that you want it to be and making it the experience that you want it to be with the people that you want to surround yourself with.
Yeah. I also completely forgot. I wanted to mention same girl. I just loved her in this documentary.
I know, I feel bad I can't remember her name.
I know, same. I had started taking notes when I first started watching of like the names of like the P&Ms they were following, just so I wouldn't forget who was who and like what each person's kind of like story was. But then I stopped taking notes. And so I didn't get her name written down. But I did like that she talked about like why she went through Panhellenic recruitment and not like NPHC.
Oh yeah, like,
or like
the Divine
Nine recruitment, because like she, I don't know, she just had such a good perspective on why she didn't, with like out of like respect for the Divine Nine sororities, and like also for like what she knew she needed, and especially somewhere like Alabama where they didn't stop segregating sororities until 2013, which is kind of wild. And just so I just didn't even know that until this, really.
Yeah, same. Same.
It just like with the entire history of fraternities and sororities, like obviously like any sorority history in general is like very like important historically. That's kind of like one of the things that Diana Turk was talking about, like why sororities even started developing on campuses, because it was when women were even first being allowed at colleges, and men had already had fraternities before women even were starting to go to their schools. And so then they basically had to create these groups where they could like promote education and things. That's why so many of the early ones were like focused on like things like English and like before we had our charter, we were about like poetry at WCU. They were like into literature.
Yeah, and if you listen to our sorority FAQ from like, what was it, 2021 or something, or 2020, whatever the year, you'll know this stuff because we talked about it.
Yeah, but it's just like that in itself is like why women started having these groups. And then obviously when this happened, only like very like wealthy white women or like women with connections were able to like even go to these schools. Like a lot of the women who are founders of sororities, they were able to start going to schools before a lot of other women because their like fathers were professors, or like there were all these things. And so just like the history behind the Divine Nine is really, really amazing to look into too. But yeah, I just thought it was great that that was included in this too, because I think somewhere like Alabama, like they could have easily left it out because they're focusing on like Panhellenic Rush in this documentary, and they could have just completely like ignored it because it's not part of Panhellenic Rush.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't really know what else I can say about it. I really, really liked it, and I think that if someone hasn't watched it yet, that it is a worthwhile watch, but to not go into it thinking that you're gonna get a whole bunch of secrets out of the rush process, that you're not gonna get like conversations out of it, that you're not gonna get like all these dirty things about it, because that's one, that wasn't the intention behind it in the first place. Two, that's not what it is. And you know what? If someone really wants an inside look about Rush and the recruitment process, let me and Sam know, and we'll give you a simulation.
Right, I'll just give you some wild story times.
We'll run a simulation for you. We'll get into a crowded room where people are all yelling at each other 6 inches away from each other's faces because they can't hear the other person talk. Honestly, that's something that I actually really liked. What the actors were saying is like, or no, I think it was Isabel during Rush, and she's like, honestly, like, you wouldn't be able to pick up any of the conversations because there's so much happening around you. Like, there's so many sounds. And honestly, conversations, most of them are really boring. Like, yeah, you can still vote on the houses. Yeah, you can still, like, get a feel for it. But they're honestly really boring. And it's nothing special. It's just having a conversation with someone.
Yeah. Like, you're having the, like, get to know you conversation over and over.
Over and over and over and over.
Yeah. It's so much.
Oh, man.
But
yeah.
We love this topic, and we'll probably talk about it more, again, closer to when schools are, like, actually doing recruitment. Because, fun fact, that only Issa and I really know unless we've mentioned it on a podcast episode before. But our sorority FAQ episode we did forever ago is, it's still our, like, top ranked episode in plays. Like, it's still going up.
Yeah.
Because, like, people are, like, searching for it.
Yeah, and not just by, like, a couple plays here and there. No, it's, like, a lot. It's a significant amount more than our second or even third. Because, like, our second and third and fourth, like, those ones are a lot closer. And it's like, any one of them can take the lead any day. But, like, of each other. But sorority FAQ. Also, fun fact, in my head I pronounce FAQ like FAQ, and I've always done it, but
Same.
then I always hear people say FAQ, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just say FAQ. But yeah, that one's like always been our top performer, which is honestly really interesting, but I also think that's so fun.
So yeah, we just figured it's about time to update it because we probably have different things to say now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, ask us a question, I will answer anything. Sam, I can't speak on her behalf, but I will answer anything.
Yeah, definitely DM us if you have any questions. Maybe if you're thinking about going through recruitment and have any questions or all that good stuff.
So, to close out the episode, Sam, what is your song of the week?
I feel like my song of the week is really random, but I picked Morning by Post Malone. And I just have been really liking this new Post Malone era, and I don't know what it is about it necessarily, but I do just like it a lot, and I thought this song was really good. It's not that new. It came out, I think, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, but I like it. It's good. It's not like the most happy song, but it's good.
Okay, so I just read Daisy Jones and the Six, like I mentioned earlier, and when I read books, I listen to playlists, like, based on the books. And here's the best part about it, is that since it's now a show, now I have the songs that they're talking about in the book to listen to. My 2 songs of the week are from the fake band, Daisy Jones and the Six. And they're Look at Us Now, Honeycomb, and then also 2 Against 3. I'm obsessed. I can't stop listening to them, and I just love them so much. And I'm so excited to watch the show.
I love that. I haven't listened to any of the songs yet because I wanted to wait till, like, around when I, like, was reading the book or, like, when I'm gonna watch the show and stuff. So I was like, I don't want to spoil anything for myself. I don't want to, like, spoil it, but, like...
No, totally fair.
Know.
And, like, okay, something that is annoying, though, because I went through... So I was just, like, on a random playlist with some Daisy Jones and the Six songs, some Dunn Brothers songs, which is... a band that formed anyways, from the book too, fake, anyways, and I was like looking at the songs, and not all of the songs from the book were like made
Are on it.
So I'm assuming like they're not in the show, and I'm really annoyed because I'm like, that's literally
You want
a
all the
big
songs.
part of the book. Well, like, not like it changed the course of the book, but I don't know. The same when you read it, then I'll tell you, and then yeah. Anyways, and some of the songs like aren't in the show, or like some of the songs in the show like aren't in the book, and I'm confused. But you know what? Whatever. It's still so good. I really do recommend. But yeah. So thank you all for listening this far. Like Sam said earlier, we love this topic. We love talking about sorority and recruitment and just like our experiences and everything in between. So please, if you could, make sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and like other streaming platforms if they allow it, like, because one, it really does help us out. Like, it helps give us a gauge of how people are feeling, and also it helps other people to find us. So, you can do that, and also like tell people and be like, oh my gosh, listen to Likewise, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, okay, now we can bond over this too. Because actually Sam and I bond, actually me and a lot of friends, but me and Sam bond a lot over the podcasts that we listen to, because we listen to a lot of the same ones, and it's so fun. But yeah, so make sure you rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also follow us on whatever streaming platform you use to make sure you're listening as soon as an episode comes out, since it's kind of irregular when they come out. But yeah, and then also follow us on Instagram at likewise_pod, because it's so cute.
It's so cute. I'm scared to post now because it looks so good.
It's like,
I don't want to
it's
ruin
kind of
it.
like whimsical. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like that word.
It's very different from what we've done before.
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of feels like I'm a little kid with it, but also grown up at the same time, simultaneously.
I love that.
Yeah. Anyways, so I'm so glad that we both love talking about the same things, and that we, just love sorority stuff. And so this was an easy one for us to record and also watch the documentary. So yeah, thank you so much for this conversation. I thought it was so good, and I just hope you have a really great rest of your day.
Thanks, Issa, and likewise to you all.
Bye.
Bye.